the topics today, ladies and gentlemen. Huge quotes coming out from Bruno Fernandes this afternoon. So many things to talk about in regards to that. Really excited to discuss it. With Casemiro, Mazraoui, Ahmad, and Mbeumo missing for the Aston Villa game and kind of future games as well, a couple of them. How do we resolve that? Kobbie Mainoo's brother has caught the headlines with a certain T-shirt he was wearing at the game. Was it pure stupidity or did he have a point? And also United have launched an investigation into a leak again, and that's not a leak in the stadium, that's a leak in regards to a certain story, tactics, etc. But Sam, Bruno Fernandes has been in the news, hasn't he, Sam? A bit of a surprise, this, do you think?
Yeah, it's very, very convenient timing, I would say, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know it was done a couple of weeks ago with the Portuguese media when he was with the national team, so it wasn't like he did it straight after the game.
Yeah.
So there is that. But yeah, to drop teasers or releases of it right after the game, that's weird timing from I think it's Canal 11, I think is the Portuguese
very
media
bizarre
outlet. Yeah. Weird.
But then I always, anytime I see quotes in an interview like this, and we'll read them out in a moment, I always feel like there's kind of a motive behind it. Like, why are you doing this interview? Why do you want the public to know certain things? Or is it just pure frustration coming out from Bruno, given what's happened kind of over the last 12 months? But, so here's a couple of the standout ones that we'll get into. So, speaking to this media outlet, it says the club wanted me to go in the summer. I have that in my head. I told the directors this, but I think they didn't have the courage to make that decision. I decided to stay also because of family reasons, but because I genuinely like the club. The conversation with the manager also made me stay. But from the club side, it felt a bit like, oh, if you leave, it's not so bad for us. It hurts me a lot more than hurting. It makes me sad because I'm a player they have nothing to criticize about. I'm always available. I always play, good or bad. I give my all. Then you see things around you, players who don't value the club as much and don't defend the club as much. That makes you sad. It's interesting, isn't it, Sam? Because when we were speaking about Bruno Fernandes in the summer, and I'm sure everyone else was the same as well, there was a lot of there was a variety of opinions, right? No one was right, no one was wrong. There's a scenario where a player gets to a certain age, when he gets to 30, 31, and clubs do look at long-term future and moving him on potentially and a load of other factors involved. So has our opinions changed on the Bruno stance right now in terms of selling him? You've seen the season that he's currently having in that deeper position. I mean, the guy is second in the league for goal involvements, created the most chances in the league, available every single game. Was we wrong to doubt him?
I've never doubted him. Like I have always backed this guy. I think he is by far and away our best player, if not our best player post Fergie. Like I don't think any of us would disagree with that, would we? Like he is that player. I think the issue was we are so reliant on him, and we are so like if he doesn't play well, the rest of the team doesn't really play well. We don't have other match winners in the team. I mean, we might have now with Cunha and Mbeumo and stuff, but before this summer, we didn't have match winners in this team. Like nobody was going to grab it by the scruff of the neck and get us through a game or win something. Ahmad occasionally would do stuff, but that's about as far as it went. Like Bruno was the one. If it was going to happen, that was what was going to make it happen. And I think when you become too reliant on a single player, I think it's almost detrimental to the team because I think your team needs to be a team game. Like the team has to be together. Like you look at Arsenal, and I hate to look at Arsenal because I don't like them, but you look at them, there's not a one standout individual, is there? Like everybody worked, like Saliba, Gabriel, Saka, Odegaard, Rice, Marino, Zubamendi. They all work together as a team. There's no one person who's just like, that's the guy. Like it's all a team effort. Liverpool last year, like I know Salah will stand out for reasons, but Gravenberch,
Trent, Van Dijk.
Gravenberch was there, Van Dijk was there, Luis Diaz. Like they had the team of like they didn't just rely. Oh, Salah will pull us out the shit. Like other people managed to do it, and I think I got to that point last year where I was like, his value is its highest. This midfield needs serious rebuilding and wing backs as well. We could sell him for a profit and we could spend the money needed to go get Anderson, Belieber, Stieler, whoever, like name your midfielder, and we could rebuild this midfield. That was my opinion. I'm not going to, like, if he decides to stay, I'm not going to be like, well, I don't want him because clearly he's a quality player and he's massively influential. But at the same time, I think there's an over-reliance on him. which I think is detrimental to us at times, even though he is absolutely phenomenal and by far away our best player.
Let's not forget as well, initially when he first started playing that role alongside Casemiro, he wasn't the best, and it has took a little bit of adapting. I think everyone can appreciate that. Having watched him the past couple of games, whether there has been a shift in certain tactical ways that we're approaching games, he's pushing forward a lot more and getting involved, which is exactly where you want him due to his instincts. He is in my opinion, the most creative player in the league. Is one of the best 10s in Europe, and there's a reason why we'll get into the clubs in a minute that are being linked with him that are still at the age that he's at, because he is a phenomenal player. And that free kick highlighted yesterday just how fucking good he is. Like, they score a free kick, you go on the back foot, and he goes, "Hold me, drink a sec," and goes back and equalizes with an even better free kick. Like, that's the levels that he's setting with his team at the minute. Now, the club that was linked with him, Sam, and the big talk was the Saudi Arabia move, right, to Al Hilal. And he got asked about like the money involved in these kind of situations and why he wasn't tempted. And he said, "I can't complain. I'm very well played. Obviously, the difference is huge. That was never what guided me. If one day I have to play in Saudi Arabia, I'll play in Saudi Arabia. My lifestyle will change. My children's lives will be sunny. After 6 years in Manchester with cold and rain, I'll be playing in a growing league with recognized players. I could have left like many people do and said, I want to leave. I don't want to train. I just want to leave for 20 million or 30 million so they pay me more on the other side. But I never did that. I never felt in position to do that because I felt the empathy and affection I had for the club was the same." It can't be overlooked, that, Sam, really, can it? You know, when you see the likes of, I don't know, Jadon Sancho, who's whinging not constantly and is on this ridiculous amount of money. I won't really throw Rashford in there because he did take a bit of a wage cut to go to Barcelona. But when you see that kind of thing, that, to me, says more about him almost than anything, him as an actual person. Like, the loyalty can't be questioned there, can it?
No, like, you've seen players who in the 20s have gone to Saudi Arabia. I'm like, why have you done that? Like, you're not even at your prime yet. Like, we saw Ruben Neves go there, Ivan Toney and stuff. It's like, well, we know what you're going for. Like, you're going for the dollar. And anybody who says otherwise is a liar.
Talking
because
rubbish. You're not going there because it's more competitive to the Premier League.
No,
let's be honest.
It's not a thing. So Bruno is obviously he's paid very, very handsomely at United. We're not going to deny that. But if he was playing for money, he would have pushed for that Saudi move and he would have gone, because obviously they're going to be willing to pay him a lot more than we are, even though we're paying him quite a bit. That's what would motivate certain players, but obviously he's not motivated by that. He's motivated by winning, by trophies, and by competing at the best level. And the Premier League is the best league in the world, in my opinion. And I think he agrees with it, and I think a lot of other players agree with it. I think if you look at Europe as well, like, we're dominating Europe. Like, all the English teams are like smashing other teams and stuff. So I think, it's admirable for a thing. I don't know if you're going to get into the other comment where he mentions it, but that was
the
that
issues
was
of loyalty and all that kind of stuff as well.
No, the one where he said that he felt like they wanted to sell him.
Oh yeah. So it's kind of in the first one, but go on.
Expand. Like, that was the bit that worried me. Like, there's no decision from the higher ups. Like, they have to make that decision, and they were like, "No, you decide. Like, you're in charge of this club. Like, you need to make these decisions. Like, you need to be, whether it's good or bad or whether it's brutal or not, you need to make these decisions." And they've done well with that in the past, like with Anthony getting rid, Højlund, etc. With Bruno, like, they needed to make a decision. Like, just leaving it down to him I think is a show of weakness from, like, Ineos there. Like, either commit to him, like, "No, you're the guy, we want you to stay," and tell him that, or sell him. But to dilly-dally about it and be like, "It's up to you, mate. Like, see what happens." Like, I don't like that at all.
The question, and the one thing I keep coming back to right now, on top of everything, is if you do, I believe there's a release clause in there for like 60 million in the summer, right? That's what I was listening to before. But then again, that's coming from Alex Scott, so you know, it is what it is. But if that is the case, who the fuck are you going to get for that price? Who does what Bruno does right now? He's irreplaceable for me. I don't think there's a player in Europe who's available for that kind of money who will do what he does. So that would be the question. Like, do you trust their scouting and their recruitment that much to get it right? And maybe even people might come back on top and say, well, we've got someone like Cunha who could take that burden, or Mbumo, or we've obviously got a lot of exciting attacking players, but Bruno Fernandes is way more than just ability on the pitch to that club. So that's the question I keep going back to.
We need a midfield rebuild. Like, it has to happen. Like, this midfield just doesn't work in this system. And like, maybe like, obviously he was playing with a back four at times yesterday, and there was some tweaks and stuff like that. And then if you have a midfield free, then yeah, that midfield's quite good. But we still need depth in that midfield, because I think Kobe Mainoo and Igate is the only other midfielders we have, like 4 midfielders. And if you play 3, that leaves you 1 spare. So depth is needed regardless, in whether it's a 2 midfield system or a 3. So you need to invest it. And I think you could have got 80, 100 million for him this summer just gone. That was the time to cash in. And like you said, if it's a 60 million release clause, that's not going to be enough to sort of get in somebody of quality like an Elliot Anderson or a Carlos Believer. If you're looking at that, they're going to cost 70 million, 80 million, 100 million. They're going to be up towards that range.
I mean, there's so many things to explore with this. There's still loads of things I want to speak about in regards to Bruno. But let's bring a couple of people in on this conversation. Royden saying, guys, watch the Rob Dawson show. He clarifies the Bruno comment. Bruno said something different to Manchester United journalist a few weeks ago. That's interesting. Happy Life saying should have sold him back in the summer. So he's on the other side of the defence. Sell the Deadwood. Where's it gone? Sorry, there's so many comments. Sell the Deadwood, cast Bruno Maguire, Shaw, Dallo, and bring in good, decent players. Let us rise again. James McGrogan questioning that, saying Bruno and cast Deadwood. Absolutely not. And then they're going back and forth. I've been underwhelmed by the attack, if truth be told, and Mbumo and Cunha are upgrades on previous players, but in the main haven't performed consistently at all under the bright lights. What would you say to that, Sam?
I think it's too early to go on Cunha. Do you not agree?
No, yeah, I was going at him obviously prior to the game last night, and I think attackers will always be based off how many goals and assists they're getting. But as an overall performance, if he performs like he does on a consistent basis, like he did against Bournemouth, I will shake Wolverhampton Wanderers' hands and say thank you very much, because I thought he was sensational last night.
Yeah, no, I think I'm always willing to give a player a season to like get to grips with. It's not the team. It's not just the team. Like it's the squad and the way of playing and the style. Because obviously he's Premier League ready, not unlike Sesko. So I'm always willing to give him a season, and I think we've obviously been stung by a lot of players where we've gone, nah, it's going to happen, and it never did, like Jadon Sancho and Anthony and what have you. And I think a lot of people are impatient with players, and not all players just hit the ground running at times. So I think, yeah, a little bit of patience. Obviously, if he's still showing this kind of form next year, then you got to start to worry, haven't you? But at the minute, yeah, I'm not too worried.
Well, let's get on to these quotes about loyalty then. Bruno Fernandes said, the issue of loyalty isn't viewed the same way it used to be. I could have left in the last transfer window. I would have earned much more money. I was going to leave a season ago. I won't say where, but I would have won many trophies that season. Until you win trophies, you're not valued as much regardless of the club and the league you're in. What values me is it has to be my club. Although lately, I feel I'm on thin ice in England. When a player starts approaching 30, they start thinking they need a makeover. It's like the furniture. 2 bits stand out to me there, Sam, and you might be the same. The first one, I was going to leave a season ago. I won't say where, but I would have won many trophies that season. And lately, I feel like I'm on thin ice in England when a player starts pushing 30. It's like a makeover. They want to get rid of the furniture. The first one, what team do you think that could be? And is it surprising to hear? Well, not surprising, because obviously he's an unbelievable player. But, yeah, what team do you think it is? Will be my first question.
I mean, it could be anything. As you said, trophies. Like, he didn't mention, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't say Champions League.
Well, it's not Arsenal then, is it?
Well, yeah. So it could be Saudi, because obviously they have trophies and stuff like that. So I hesitate. I can't imagine there isn't a team who isn't in for him. Like, if they had an idea of like he is available, I imagine that Barca, Madrid.
Would he get in every team in the world?
Yeah, he's getting most of them. He's definitely getting most of
What
them.
teams would he not?
Barca, I think he'd struggle just because I think
The
they've got
way he
so
is.
many midfield. They've got so many midfielders. Like
Mm.
it's ridiculous their talent that they've got in there. You like Pedri, Gavi, and stuff like that. And I think fitting him into that system, I just think would be a bit of a sort of like a sore thumb. Like I obviously do well and stuff like that, but I don't think he'd fit well there. I think Madrid he'd be phenomenal for. I think he'd be fantastic at Real Madrid.
But Jude Bellingham,
Um,
obviously they've got. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? So it's.
I mean, when have Real Madrid like not bought every
I
good
know.
player they can get
I
around?
know.
Do you know what I mean?
But
Like,
I think that's one of the reasons why they might be struggling a little bit because of that, like
yeah,
Mbappe, Vinicius, like maybe a bit of an over
yeah.
rather than
Bayern
focusing on.
Munich, obviously, they've got a very young midfield going on at the
Mm.
minute. Like they're building for the
Can you
youth as
imagine,
well.
Sam,
So,
what he would do at Bayern Munich if
oh
he
yeah,
went there?
he'd be the best. He'd
Playing with
be the
Harry
best.
Kane and Elise and like.
He'd be. I know he's got like a record assist for us, but he'd double that over in Bayern
Yeah.
Munich with Harry
See
Kane.
stat
Like it'd be
padding in the
ridiculous.
Prem, fucking hell. Imagine what he'd do in the German league.
Yeah,
He'd be breaking records if he went there. And I
yeah.
think he knows that as well. I just don't think the trophies marry what he's produced on the
No,
pitch. And I think that's where I'll be looking. Similar to Harry Kane a little bit, actually. Like, where
yeah, yeah.
obviously he's won more stuff than what Harry Kane did at Tottenham. But if he wants to win league titles and Champions Leagues, there's a small window in there for a player where you do get to 30, 31. And Kane's just proven it by going there at the age of 30 and winning almost everything pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's got to be appealing to him, hasn't it?
Yeah, like he's at that point now where his next contract is probably his last contract or his last big contract. Let's put it that way. So he's in that position now where he's thinking, do I stay at United and hope it improves and gets better? So I get an opportunity at a trophy and I get an opportunity at a title, or do I make the move and cash in and get those trophies and guarantee myself trophy? Look, maybe there's not always guaranteed trophies, but if you go to a team like Bayern Munich, you're probably going to win the league. You're probably going to get to the latter stages of the Champions League. You're probably going to win a cup, like the Polka or something like that. So there's a better chance of doing it than staying at United, for example.
Yeah, you think the fact as well at United, he's lost 2 finals in the Europa League. He was here, right? When, obviously he was in Verdansk when we lost, and then lost in Bilbao as well.
The Spurs one's just,
Yeah,
God.
and then wasn't here when we actually won under Jose the Europa League, which is sad, but still won, FA Cups and Carabaos and stuff. So the last thing I want to touch on with Bruno, there was a report as well saying there's a feeling within the Man United dressing room that this season could be Bruno Fernandes's last at the club. It'd be sad to see that, wouldn't it, Sam? Him going. How would you obviously he's not gone yet and we still got a season. He might not even leave in general, but if it is, how would you reflect on his time at United so far?
I think he does go in the summer. I think I said that at the beginning of the season. I think this is his last season at United, and these quotes that are coming out, it does feel like somebody putting in their 2 weeks notice, doesn't it?
Yeah,
at work,
or 6 month notice in this case.
Yeah, in his case, like it does feel that way. But like I said right at the top of the show, like he is the best signing post Alex Ferguson, bar none. Like there is nobody that comes close in terms of longevity, in terms of consistency, in terms of goals, assists, and the impact he's had on the team. Like you look at the first game he started at Wolves, his impact was immediately there. That year got us to Champions League football. Like you said, won 2 trophies in arguably one of the worst periods in United's history. Some of the worst teams ever, and he's still managed to come out with trophies. Like you said, he's broken every record in terms of assists and goals scored for like a midfielder for us, and like he's up there with Kevin De Bruyne, who everybody rates as one of the best Premier League midfielders of all time.
Yeah,
and had he been in a Sir Alex Ferguson team, he'd probably be up there with legendary status like Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Carrick, those kind of guys if he was under that sort of regime. It's just sad that he came in during our worst time, and yeah, it's unfortunate.
You mentioned Kevin De Bruyne there, and City had a similar problem, didn't they, when he left, trying to fill that hole that he left when he went, because he was such an important player and probably the best player in the Premier League. And they've kind of not filled it, but you see the form that Foden's in now. Cherky's coming, starting to look decent.
Yep.
So they've brought in talented players who have done good, but not replicated what De Bruyne was doing. So that just goes
No.
to show how hard it truly is to replace those kind of players. Like, just to find them on the market, like, they might not even be available in general. So it's really, really tricky. There is going to be a life after, Bruno at some point, and you expect kind of players to step up. And we're in a similar situation now, Sam, with Casemiro's going to be out for Aston Villa. No Ahmad, no Mbumo, no Majari because of AFCON. How would you handle this situation? And the obvious question is, who plays in their positions, do you think?
Well, we'll get on to Kobe Mainoo in a minute.
Free
Because
comment.
his brother might have ruined his chances of playing on Sunday with his antics, but we'll get on to that in a bit.
Yeah.
If you're going to play the same system and you're going to play two midfielders, like for like, or it's not like for like, but positionally, Ugarte is the obvious selection, isn't it? He's
Yeah.
defensive midfielder. He breaks up play, he gets tackles and stuff like that, but he hasn't got the passing range or the goal scoring nous that Casemiro has. So you're losing half of what goes on in that midfield with Ugarte. Obviously, Kobe Mainoo is on the other side of things. He is phenomenal on the ball, really good eye for goal, like likes to get forward and stuff like that. But his defensive work and his strength and stuff like that needs work, and it's not there either. So you're kind of in a situation where there's not really an option to come in. Like, do you just bring in a young lad? Like, do you bring in Jack Fletcher or something like that? That's a lot in it to ask of a young player. And then do you put another square peg in a round hole? Like, do you shove Leacher into there? Do you know what I mean? Like, there isn't a right answer, I feel, for Villa. Like, it was going to suck anyway with the loss of Ahmad and
Yeah.
Mbumo. And now we've lost Casemiro, it's going to suck even more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's worrying.
I think the main element what you lose with Mbumo and Ahmad is that 1v1. When you're playing a team who's maybe a little bit difficult to break down at the time, which Bournemouth wasn't yesterday. We scored 4 goals. It was a very open game. But typically, if we do play a Burnley or Leeds or someone like that and we're struggling to break them down, Ahmad will be the one who'll pick it up and he'll beat a man and get a ball into the box, and we kind of go from there. With losing those two, there's not many who have the pace either to run in behind or go 1v1. And any of the players that we did have like that are out on loan at the minute, like Marcus Rashford, for example. So I don't know how he's going to tinker with it. He's and maybe this is the reason we're all seeing why he's changing and tweaking things behind closed doors, or what was supposed to be behind closed doors, which people found out about. So I'm really interested to see that team, how he lines up. I think he could go with Ugarte, Kobe, and Bruno in the midfield.
It could be. That would be the most sensible solution in my eyes. Go with a midfield 3, pack it. You've got Ugarte, so he doesn't have to cover as much space if he's in a midfield 2. And then just make sure he goes. If you win the ball, Ugarte, give it to Bruno, give it to Kobe. Like, nothing else. You just sit in front of the defense and you break up play and you make tackles and you make yourself a nuisance and you just give it to one of the playmakers. That's how you would set it up ideally. But we know Amrim. I know he tinkered and he changed things last night. I hope he continues to do that and try and find a way out of this, because obviously Mbumo, Ahmad, and Mazraoui are going to be gone for maybe up to 8 games, 6 to 8 games, I think. So you're going to have to find something that works. Like, it's not like it's 1 or 2 games. It's quite a few games. You're going to have to figure it out.
I think a lot of people look at the Casemiro situation and the first thing they'll think of, oh, well, we're just losing his experience as that kind of, defensive midfielder screening. But it's not just that, it's his threat in both boxes as well. You literally saw yesterday him score from a corner. Like, that's his bread and butter. And then also defending set pieces as well is really, really important in the air. And the Premier League nowadays is all about set pieces and aerial duels and physicality. And I think
second balls as well.
I think that's one of the reasons why Mainoo, he doesn't go with Mainoo more in that kind of role. So if they are going to do that, I do think we're going to start being maybe a little bit more susceptible to things. And teams aren't stupid. Managers aren't stupid. They will look at United. Aston Villa, you spoke about their midfield before. Tillemans, Onana, players like that, Kamara, Rodgers. I mean, they are just going to run riot, essentially, if United don't get it right. So it's not as if he's got a luxury of options to choose from. It has to be Ugarte and Kobe, or there's no one else, unless you said like square peg round hole, isn't it? So interesting, very, very interesting. Yeah, it leads perfectly, Sam, into this Mainoo situation. Last night after the game, drew 4-4 with Bournemouth. Kobbie Mainoo's brother wore a T-shirt at Old Trafford saying "Free Kobbie Mainoo," which is obviously kind of suggesting that Ruben Amorim is putting the player in a football prison. What did you make of that? What was your reaction when you saw it?
I looked into this guy, and for one, he was known by I think Jordan something
Yeah,
a while back before Kobbie broke into the team.
yeah.
And then once Kobbie became famous, he all of a sudden changed his name to
He's
Mainoo
changed his name. Yeah,
to
yeah.
sort of cling on and tag on to his thing. And he knew what he was doing. It was fucking freezing at Manchester last night, pissing it down rain. And he stood at the front, not watching the pitch, facing people, wanting photographs, wanting to
Screams
get people
attention. It's got an actual move in it.
He was. It's an immature thing, and I don't know if Kobbie knew about it. I don't know if he told him to do it. I don't know if he told him not to, and he did it anyway. I don't know what's gone on behind the scenes, but it doesn't help Kobbie, does it? It just doesn't help him in any way possible.
No.
And what's his message? That he should play more or that he should leave? I don't. What does free Kobbie mean? Does he want him to leave or does he want him to play? I don't know what it is he's trying to get across. But either way, the manager is now going to be like, well, I was going to select you on Sunday, but your brother's going out and getting this kind of attention, media attention on this issue.
If I play you now,
and if I play you now, yeah, do you know what I mean? It's not done Kobbie any favors at all.
No.
So, and we've seen these players doing immature things on social media. Harry Amas and Cheeto posting stuff and then deleting it straight after. Just lads, just try and act like an adult for once. I know you're young, I know you're immature and stuff, but you're playing for Manchester United, and everything you do gets scrutinized within an inch of its life. So, and you've got to be aware of that. And yeah, his brother's just stupid for doing it. Really stupid.
Mainoo doesn't strike me as the type of guy to do something like that, or even I can't imagine him having a conversation with his brother and going, you know what, on Monday night when I'm on the bench, if you want to wear a T-shirt that says "Free Kobbie," that'd be really good. I cannot see him doing that at all. All the reports that you've seen surrounding Mainoo at Carrington training is he's really professional. He's keeping his head down. He's obviously frustrated because he wants to play in the World Cup, but he's doing everything he can to get back into the team. So there's no doubt in my mind that he's orchestrated. He's not orchestrated that, should I say. It's his brother who's gone out on a whim, wants a little bit of attention, but then we'll use it to portray a message like, "Oh, I was just doing it, to help my brother, and I just want to see him play football on the pitch and all that kind of shit." So, yeah. All I'd say, the guy was on Love Island, so that was everything that you need to know, right there. But again, it's just not ideal, is it? After a result where if we win the game, probably no one gives a shit about it and doesn't talk about it as much, because we drew it. And it was end to end. It then becomes a talking point, and United is just a sponge for that kind of stuff. So, yeah, hopefully it's the last time it happens this season.
It's just we text Carl this morning, just a normal day at United would be nice, wouldn't it? Every fucking time we play a game, we can't even talk about the tactics or what you change or anything like that, because the Bruno interview drops and then Kobbie's brother does something stupid. It's just for fuck's sake, can we just talk about football for once rather than all this shite that we have to deal with every single week? It's a circus, man.
And on top of that, you get all the fucking usual transfer bollocks with it, which we're not going to get into today. I mean, there's stuff about Semenyo, and you always see a transfer story about a player.
No way are we signing Semenyo. It's not happening. I don't care what people say. He's not signed. They're not signing him, and he's not going to agree to play wing back. It's not fucking happening. It's just not happening.
Don't get me wrong. I think he's a phenomenal
player.
Oh yeah,
if he signs, I'm fucking come on. But it's not happening.
I always said, imagine Ahmad, Semenyo, Cunha, and Bumo and Bruno in a team. I don't even know if it would work, but if you could get that working, my goodness me, what an attack that'd be. Fucking hell.
Blistering that. Absolutely blistering.
But I don't see it happening, especially in January when you look at kind of the financial situation United do in a minute. But then again, we've been told that before, so who knows fucking anything? Not me.
He's not going AFCON though, is he? Because Ghana didn't qualify, so
he's not going. So and I think there's some form of release clause in January. I think Ornstein reported
the last 2. Is it the last 2 weeks or the first?
It's either the first 2 or the last 2. I can't remember which one it is. But Yeah. Anyway, guys, if you can subscribe to the channel, please do. If you're new and you're thinking, yep, we love this content, we try to go live every single day. We discuss, pre-match, post-match, loads of other different bits and bobs. Civir was scheduled to be on with us today to do Unfiltered as usual, but we had some audio issues, so I'm sure he's crying in a corner somewhere and regretting that he's not on the show. But hey ho, there's always time for a next one. Yeah, Sam, anything else before we head off?
Follow all the socials. I've done a bit of a refresh on the creative and stuff, and it's getting some nice sort of likes and comments and stuff, and we're inching towards 10,000. So if you want to help us out and follow us on Instagram, like that would be fantastic. X, latest news and updates. Like obviously it takes a while to create graphics and stuff for Insta, but X, like we're straight on it if there's a piece of news out, like the Bruno thing or the copy thing, for example. And then TikTok, where we're at with TikTok, how many?
TikTok is just impossible to get past a certain figure at this point. It's just, I've just not given up on it. There's still loads of content being put on it. So if you want to watch clips, more video-based things, then go drop us a follow on TikTok. But yeah, I think it's on about 29.1k or something. No idea.
So we're getting close to 30k. So go out that out, and then we're playing Villa on Sunday. So expect the preview probably Friday.
Yeah.
And then plenty of other stuff in between.
Awesome. Right. See you later, guys. Appreciate you all.